Hello, welcome to the first lecture of Python. My name is Megha and I'll be teaching you the Python curriculum, or let's say Python module. So first let's start with the definition of Python. What is Python and how it is going to help us in the field of data science. Okay, so first we will understand what actually Python is. Okay, so Python is nothing but one programming language. Now what are the characteristics this programming language is going to provide and how this is going to help us in the field of data science? First we will see that, and then we will later move into the definition of the Python. So basically, what is Python? As I told you, it is a programming language. And we also say that it is a general purpose programming language. Let me write it down for you. General purpose programming language. Now, since we are talking about programming language, let's first understand what actually programming language is. Okay, so programming language helps us to write some program and help us to give commands to our computer to make us do some particular task in the computer. Okay, now programming language helps us to write the program in a high level language. Now what is high level language? High level language is a language which is understandable by human. Let's say whatever programs we are going to write in Python, it is going to be called as source code or high level language, which is user understandable language. Let's say the people like you and me are going to understand. But we also know that my machine, let's say my computer, it is not going to understand high level language, right? Machine understand binary language. Okay, we understand high level language, machine understand binary language. So how this conversion happen? We are going to write the Python program in high level language. Later this gets converted into the machine language or binary language, which computer understands and give us back the answer in the high level format as well. Let's say the output is going to be in the high level format. Okay, now why we are learning this path, what is the reason for understanding high level language and binary language? Let's say we also call binary language as low level. What is the purpose of reading these two things? Just to understand how Python actually works with your computer and how we are going to write the programs with the help of Python. So now, since I'm saying that it is high level language, which means the language in which we are going to write the codes. Binary language in which the user, let's say machine, is going to understand the code. There is one thing what we call it as general purpose programming language, which means general purpose, whatever you can see in your daily life, anything, let's say transacting money from ATM, let's say playing tic-tac-toe game, all of these things you can perform or you can write code of in Python. Okay, so Python is very easy to understand. Let's say if someone is not from coding background and they want to learn Python, it is the best programming language because here the contribution of data structures and algorithm and the understanding of data structures and algorithm are not required. So any person with the beginner level can understand or learn Python. Okay, now the Python version which we are following right now is 3.11. Okay, which means the programming language every time it gets upgraded and we get the new version of the programming language where they initiate or install some patches, some security patches, they upgrade the language. So right now the version which we are going to read Python on or write Python codes on, it is 3.11. Okay, now let's understand the characteristics of the Python first, and then we will see the conversion, how the programs get converted from high level language to the binary one, and how we receive the output from binary language to the high level. Okay, so first understand what all facility or let's say what all characteristic Python provides. I told you that it is a general purpose programming language. We also say it is high level, as I told you. Okay, so if somebody asks you the definition of Python, you are going to say that Python is nothing but a programming language which is high level and general purpose in nature. Okay, it is it has amazing ecosystem and it is excellent for developing prototypes quickly. When I'm saying prototype, which means what? Which means you can write the programs very quickly on Python. You can do data analysis using Python. You can do web development using Python. You can create web pages using Python. You can also create search engine. For example, everybody heard the term Google, right? So this Google is completely created, or let's say is completely the foundation of the Google is the Python programming language. Okay, we created a search engine with the help of a programming language called as Python. So Python is versatile in nature. Not only we are using it for the data analysis, but we are also using in the other field of technology as well. Okay, now since we understood what is Python, what is high level language, what is the definition of Python, as I told you, it is general purpose high level programming language, and it is easy for us to create or develop different prototypes using Python. Now since we are talking in the field, let's say technology in the field of data science, there are two programming languages which are highly popular in the field of data science: Python and R, right? So we have to understand the difference between Python and R just to make ourselves sure that why we are using Python and why we are not using R. Okay, the reason that we have these two programming language available in the market, but we are choosing to move forward with the Python, reason being that Python is versatile in nature. As I told you, recently we had discussion that Python helps us to create the web pages, the search engines. It helps us for the web development as well. It is not only getting limited or restricted in the field of data science or data analysis. It provides us the versatility. If you look into the broader picture, what will happen once you go into production, we have to understand the pipeline, right? Not your field is only separated from rest of the field. You have to work with the different people as well. You have to work with different designation as well. Designation comes with the web development. It comes up with the database engineering as well. Okay, so you guys have to use the common programming language to interact with each other. That's where the place where Python comes into the picture and R is going to fail. Although whatever things we are going to perform in Python in the case of data analysis, all the same things you can perform in R as well, but just because it is not versatile in nature, we usually accept Python to move forward with. Okay, now since we are talking about Python, we understand the definition of Python. Now we have to also understand where we are going to write the code of Python, right? We cannot directly write it here or in some Word document or in some Excel sheet. No, we need some proper environment to write Python programming language, because as I told you, this conversion happens, right? It gets converted from high level language, then it gets converted into the machine understandable one, then later we get the output again back in the high level language. So this whole process, we call this as interpretation. Okay, let me tell you what it is. It is called as interpretation. What is interpretation? You guys have heard this thing. Let's say if you are somewhere, you don't, in let's say in some different country, you don't know the language of that country, what you do? You interpret. There must be a third party who helps you to interpret the language and translate it into your one. Okay, the same thing is going to happen here. The language which user understand is high level, the language which machine understand is binary. So the interpreter is going to work in between, which will help us to translate high level language into the machine one, and later machine understand and gives us the output. It is going to perform the same thing vice versa as well. It is going to translate binary into the high level one. Okay, so this process is going to called as interpretation, and the process which is getting performed is done by interpreter. It is very important thing related to the Python. Whenever somebody is going to ask you the question that Python is interpreted or compiled, you have to always answer it is interpreted language. Okay, because it converts your source code, or let's say high level language, into the machine one, and machine into the high level language. And here the intermediate thing, or let's say the third party person which is doing the job, is called as interpreter. So this interpreter I was talking about, where we are going to write the code. Okay, so interpreter is going to be the platform where we are going to write the code, which will help us to make this process easier of translating the source code into the machine, or machine code into the source code. So where we are going to write the code, what is going to be the interpreter in our case when we are learning Python? So usually in the field of data science, the interpreter, or let's say the platform, or let's say the IDE, which is widely getting used or accepted by the industry, is called Anaconda Navigator. Okay, I will show you how Anaconda Navigator looks like, but before that let me tell you how you can install it. Okay, there should be the Anaconda Navigator in your system before writing the Python program. You can easily find Anaconda Navigator in Google. Okay, what you have to write is just that Anaconda download. You have to click in this free download. It will lead you to this page. Okay, if you scroll this down, it will give you one option of downloading the Anaconda. Okay, you can see free download. If you click on the free download option, okay, it is asking you, no, not this one. Let's go back. Let's simply write Anaconda. Okay, yes, so you can see this. I will drop a link of this website for you guys, so that you can freely download the Anaconda. Once you click on the free download, it will ask you for the email. You have to simply mention your email here. Let's say I'm mentioning my email ID here. Once you mention, you have to click on the, now it is giving you success. Please check your email for the download link. Now it is going to send you the email with the download link. Okay, if you open your email, you will see the Anaconda download link. Let me show you. This is my Gmail. You can see Anaconda distribution download. Now you can see it is giving you the download now option. If you click directly, it will lead you to the page where you guys can download this Anaconda Navigator. Now this is the very important step. Here you can see Anaconda installers, completely depending upon your operating system. Okay, right now you can see it is available for Mac, Linux and Windows. Okay, one thing, for the Mac users you can use whatever mentioned here, easy. But for the Windows user, you can see there is only one option of 64-bit. Okay, one thing I am telling you, there is one path where you can understand, is your operating system 32-bit or 64-bit. Okay, for 32-bit user, there is one different download link which I can pass on to you guys. For 64-bit Windows user, you can directly click on this link and it will help you to download the Anaconda Navigator exe file. Once you download the Anaconda Navigator exe file, you have to install it like any other application. Okay, once you are done installing it, you can go back in your taskbar, search for the Anaconda, and it will appear like a green circle. You will see Anaconda Navigator. Okay, once you click on this Anaconda Navigator, you can see it is popping up. It will come. You can see in the screen we have a green circle. It is initializing. It might take few minutes, so have some patience for that. Once it gets initialized, you can see we do have different consoles, or let's say interpreter, available in the Anaconda Navigator. Okay, Data Spell, Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook, Qt Console. Let me tell you one thing, this all consoles are completely dedicated for the field of data analysis or data science. Okay, once you click on the launch button, it is going to get launched. Now the question arises which one we are going to use. Okay, so the one which we are going to use is Jupyter Notebook. Guys, do not get confused. We have two options, Jupyter Lab and Jupyter Notebook. You have to click on the notebook one. Okay, if you have to click on the lab, there is no issue, but the environment of the lab is going to be completely different from that of your notebook. So I'm suggesting you to click on the launch of the notebook only. Once you click on the launch, you can see there is one terminal or bash getting opened up. Okay, I'm suggesting you not to close it, but just minimize it, because it is creating a bridge between your code and your machine. You understand the concept of interpreter which we were discussing? The same thing is happening here. It is giving us the concept of interpreter by opening that terminal. Now, one more thing which we have to understand here is that it is going to open the home page of Jupyter. If you can see, this is the home page of Jupyter, and all of the files and folder that are available in your computer is getting mirrored here. When I'm saying mirror, which means it is creating as it is copy of those files and folder here in your Jupyter Notebook home page. Okay, so you have to select in which folder you want to create your Jupyter Notebook file. So let's say I am going to create my file in desktop. Once I'm opening the desktop, I'm clicking on new. After clicking on new, I have to select Python 3 IPY kernel. Opening it. Once you open, you will see there is one fresh notebook getting opened up right in front of your screen. Now this is the console where you are going to write the Python program. Okay. Now, coming back to the point, there are some basics which we need to understand for the Jupyter Notebook. The basic number one, we have to rename the notebook first. Every time you are going to create the notebook, the name of the notebook is going to appear as untitled every time. Okay, so just to make your notebooks unique from each other or one another, you have to rename it. Okay, so I'm renaming it. Let's say Jupyter Notebook, let's say Python day 1. Okay, so this is going to be my notebook name. I'm renaming it. Once I renamed it, now let me introduce you to the different options available in the Jupyter Notebook. Let's get friendly with the Jupyter Notebook. You can see there is one rectangular box getting appeared. That's where you are going to write your Python codes, and this is called as a cell. Let me write it down for you. CELL. Okay, so this is what we call it as cell. So the question arises, there is going to be one cell only? No, you can have multiple cells. By clicking on the plus, you will see multiple cells are getting appeared. Now what if I want to delete those cells? You have to simply click on this cross button, and this is going to delete your selected cell. You can see how we understand my cell is selected. If you put your cursor here and click on the scissor button, that cell is going to get deleted. Okay, so for addition of multiple cells, for deletion of multiple cells, we understood two options. Now, why do we call this as Jupyter Notebook? What is the reason behind that? Why this is called as notebook, right? We call this as notebook, reason being that it helps us to write the program as well as the notes. Okay, now everything which we are going to do is digitally only. Okay, you don't need to have pen on paper in your hand to write the notes or to write the codes separately. You can open Jupyter Notebook. Here you can write the notes as well as codes as well. Okay, how? You have to understand this thing that we have different modes here. Suppose I am selecting this cell, I'm clicking on this particular box. You can see we have code mode, markdown mode, raw notebook convert, and heading. We will see these modes one by one. Okay, so mode 1 is your code. Basic, very basic, easy to understand. In this mode, we can write different codes. Okay. Now the second one, Markdown. Markdown will help you to write the definition, to write your notes. Whatever you want to write down, Markdown is going to help you with that. Raw notebook convert. Okay, first let me show you one by one. Okay, let's say I selected this cell. I am putting the Markdown mode. You can see this in is getting disappeared here from here. Okay, once it will get disappeared, you are in the Markdown mode and you can write anything here. Hello, this is day 1 of Python. Okay, now suppose you want to give the heading. I'm selecting this cell, changing the mode to heading. Now this is going to create a heading for me. You have to understand one thing, that whenever your cell is in heading mode, it is going to get converted into blue color, and you can change the size of heading as well. As of now, it is in the H1 format, which means heading 1. We don't have any other larger format than this, which means it is the final large format for the heading. From this format, you can reduce the size, but you cannot increase the size. Okay, so suppose if you want to reduce the size of heading, you have to just put one hash here. You can see it is reducing the size of your heading like this. You can see maximum you can go till H5. Okay, and minimum you can go till H1, which is the largest size of the heading. Okay, now once you are done with this heading declaration, this is how my heading is going to look like. The question is no. Your heading is going to look like this. While you selected this cell, you have to click on the run button. This is how your heading is going to look like. Once you click on the run button, it is going to run your cell. There is one basic rule associated with the Jupyter, which is you have to run every cell which is selected. Okay, every cell needs to get run while we are going to select it. Then only it is going to work. Okay, once the cell selection is done, you have to click on the run button, and then how it is going to appear. Similarly here also, if you guys remember, we have just written the line, we haven't ran that cell. So I'm going to run that cell. This is how your Markdown is going to appear. And don't worry, let me show you one line of code. Do not hesitate, just write it for the understanding purpose, that how code actually looks like. Later I will explain you what is the meaning of that code. Okay, simply you have to write print, open and close brackets, within the double inverted comma, my bad, hello world. Okay, now what is the rule? What is the basic rule? That every cell needs to be run. I am running this cell. You can see this is in the code mode. I have given some input and this is giving me the output. Okay, so we have seen 3 different modes of the Jupyter Notebook. Now once we understand what is the last mode, raw notebook. If you want to make the look of your notebook completely raw, it is not in the code mode, neither in the heading or Markdown. If you want to make your notebook look raw, you can write something, I want my notebook raw. You can simply choose the option, run the cell, and you can see the cell is going to appear as it is. Okay, it is not giving me any sort of input, not any output, or it is appearing in this way. It is just simple appearance within the cell. So we have seen 4 different modes of the Jupyter. Okay, now you don't need to save this file. Okay, this Jupyter file is going to get automatically saved. This is also one advantage of the Jupyter Notebook, that we don't need to save the files here. It is automatically going to get saved. Suppose let's say there is loss of electricity, you lose some data, By default, there is some checkpoint going to get created, and from there your data is saved completely fine and secured in your Jupyter notebook. You don't even need to save it. Okay, so that is what Jupyter notebook does to you. We can write code, we can write definitions, we can write heading, whatever we want in the Jupyter notebook. It is widely accepted in industry for the data analysis. That's why we are choosing this IDE, Integrated Development Environment, to write Python codes. Okay, now let's go back. This is most of the practicality we were getting in touch of the Jupyter notebook. Now let's go back in the theoretical point and understand what is the extension of the file if we save the Jupyter notebook. Okay, when I'm saying extension, what is the extension? You can see if I select some file, there is always something called as .pdf, .csv. If it is image file, .jpg. Okay, if it is let's say some PDF file, it is going to be .pdf, right? But if it is Python file, what is the extension of that Python file going to be? That is the very important question. So for checking or for knowing the extension of the Python file, let's go back in the whiteboard. Okay, to understand what is the extension of the Python file, let me tell you. This is very basic. We are using Jupyter, right? Where we are writing the Python code. Jupyter notebook saves the file. Let's say your file name is XYZ and the extension of file is IPYNB. And this is not the proper extension of the Python file. It is the notebook format. Okay. What is the proper extension of the Python file? Whenever you want to see what is the extension of the Python file, it is, let's say your file name is XYZ and it is going to be .py. This is the correct extension of the Python file. Now you will ask me the question that if Jupyter is not saving the file in the proper extension, then why are we choosing Jupyter notebook, right? Let me tell you, in the Jupyter, if you go back, there is one option. Okay, you can go in the file and download as option .py format. Usually we keep the Jupyter notebook extension as IPYNB, which means that file you can open only with the help of Jupyter notebook application. Okay, this .py file you can open with any application, let's say Word, whatever. Okay, but the Jupyter notebook extension file is only going to get opened with the help of that particular application. Okay, now this is the basic. So if anyone going to ask you what is the extension of the Python file, the answer should be .py. Okay, not IPYNB. That is specifically for the Jupyter notebook. If you want to download the file in the .py format, I have shown you the option in the Jupyter. You can download it from there. Okay, now we understood the basics of the Python. Now let's write the definition of the Python here. Since I am writing the definition, which means I am going to convert the cell into the markdown mode. Okay, so I am writing 1 or 2 lines for the Python. Let's say Python is a programming language which is high level and general purpose in nature. Okay, Python is an interpreted language. Okay, if somebody is going to ask you what is Python, you have to answer them in this particular format. The current version of Python is 3.11. Okay, which we are using right now. Okay, we are writing Python programs in Jupyter Notebook, which is the part of Anaconda Navigator. So I'm just writing few pointers what we have covered up till now, giving you the quick revisions. Okay, we are going to write information or codes in the cells of Jupyter Notebook, which comes up with different modes. This is the modes I'm talking about: markdown mode, and then code mode, heading. That is the mode I'm talking about. Okay, now we understood this basics about Python. We know what is Python. We understand the extension of the Python. Now there is one thing which we call it as case sensitivity. Okay, let me erase this. Let me change the pen color, and let's talk about case sensitivity. Do we understand what is case? In school time, you guys have heard of the uppercase and lowercase, or let's say the small alphabet or the large alphabet, right? Capital A, small a. So this is going to be called as uppercase in technical terms, and this is going to be called as lowercase in technical terms. Okay, now what is case sensitivity? Since we are going to write the programs in Python, the questions arises that is Python case sensitive in nature or not, which means we have to always use uppercase, we have to use always lowercase, or we can use the combination of uppercase and lowercase according to our choice. Okay, so always understand that Python is case sensitive in nature. Yes, it is highly case sensitive, which means what? Suppose here we have written, this is the code of the Python, right? I already told you this is in the code mode. Now this is the statement which you have written in the Python, print hello world, right? Now suppose if I change this small p to capital P, according to my choice, I'm feeling like I have to change this into the capital P. So is this code going to work, or is it going to throw some error? That is the question. So this is going to throw error, which means what is defined in the Python, in whatever case, we have to follow that case only. Either it is uppercase, either it is lowercase. Usually everything in the Python is the lowercase. Okay, so print should be as it is because it is the code, and here we will get the discussion of it in near lectures, don't worry. But just understand Python is highly case sensitive. What you are declaring, in whatever case you are declaring, you have to use that particular case only. You cannot change the case of the code, or let's say alphabet, according to your choice or mood. Okay, so let's write one more line down here that Python is case sensitive in nature. Okay, so we are just recollecting some of the points related to the Python, basic points. Okay, so here the basic introduction of Python gets over. Now we will move forward with the variable declaration. Okay, now what is variable declaration? This is the first step of going inside the Python and getting introduced yourself with the codes. Now we will understand, or we will know how we can write codes inside the Python. Okay, so there is the thing, that first we have to understand all the technical terminologies related to the Python. Then only we are going to pick a step ahead to write down the codes. Okay, so first we will understand what are the basic foundations to write a code in Python. Okay, the heading of this topic is called as keywords and identifiers. Let me give you the heading: keywords and identifiers. Okay, so what are keywords and what are identifiers? We will see that it is a kind of a combination of theoretical and both practical. Okay, so you have seen that I selected this cell, I changed this into the heading mode, I have given the heading and I ran the cell. That's how the heading is looking like for me, keywords and identifier. So first we are picking the topic of keyword. Okay, again I'm declaring the heading mode. Clearly mentioning it, keywords. Okay, now what are keywords? We will see that. Okay, keywords are some reserved words in Python. Let me write down for you. Keywords are some reserved words in Python. Now guys, you can see I haven't selected the mode yet. So by default, if you are not selecting the mode of the cell, it is going to be the code mode. Later I am converting it into the markdown and I am running the cell. Okay, so it is giving me the definition that keywords are some reserved words in Python. Overall we have 36 keywords. Okay, now the question arises, how we are going to get the list of those 36 keywords? Do we need to remember all those 36 keywords? The answer is no. With time, in Python, you will understand all those 36 keywords. Okay, but how you are going to identify what are keywords? Okay, so this is the advantage of Jupyter, that let's say whatever you are writing which is storing into the color of dark bold green, we are going to declare that as keyword. Okay, let's say this is def. Let's say if I'm going to write import, you can see dark bold green. Whatever previously we were writing, was that dark bold green? No. So print is a keyword? No. Let me rerun the cell. You can see no, but this is your keyword. Okay, now when I'm saying some reserved word in Python, now let me give you the elaboration of that. Keywords are those reserved words in Python that will help you. These words carry some certain meaning. Let's say if I'm writing import, it will help me to import some files or information out of the system. Let's say if I want to import some packages or modules of the Python here in the Jupyter notebook, I can use this keyword. So these keywords are 36 in nature count, and they carry some proper meaning. We have some meaning associated with those words, okay, which is already defined by Python. We are not the responsible person. Even if we want, we cannot change the meaning of those words. Okay, but Python has already declared the meaning of those words and you cannot even change it. Okay. Now what are identifiers? Identifiers, let me give you some example of the keywords first and then we will move into the identifier. Def is one of your keyword. Import is another one. True is another one. False is another one. If you look into the screen very carefully, I have declared def and import all in the lowercase. I have declared true and false with T as capital and F as capital. And those are the uppercase, lowercase combination. So that's what I told you. We have to be specific with the cases. Okay. Whatever declared in the Python, we have to go with that format only. We cannot change the cases according to our choice. Also, now you must be wondering how we are going to remember this thing. That some things are in the uppercase rest are in the lowercase. This true and false are the exception. Rest, every word you are going to encounter in Python is going to be in the lowercase. This true and false is the exception, let's say are the exception, where T must be capital and F must be capital. Rest, everything written in the Python is going to be in the lowercase format. So no need to worry. You are going to remember this either way. Okay. Moving forward, we understand what keywords are. Now we will move forward in the direction to understand what identifiers are. Okay. Now I told you that keywords are some reserved words in Python which are built in nature, which means it is already there in Python. I cannot change their meaning. I can use them whenever requires, but I cannot change the meaning. I cannot touch those keywords. I can use them only. Okay, we have meaning associated to those words. What if I want to create some word and provide meaning to those words? What happened in that case? That case is called as identifier. Now Python is giving you the chance. Python is not limiting you up. Python told you that I have 36 set of keywords which carry some certain meanings, but I am not restricting you as well. If you want to declare some word and you want to assign some meaning to those words, identifier is going to be the case for you. Okay, with the help of identifiers you can declare those words and you can assign meaning to those words. But there are some certain set of rules to declare the identifier. You cannot declare anything as identifier. Okay, you cannot declare Elon Musk's son name as the identifier. No, it carries some specific rule, and based on that rule you have to declare the identifier. Then only Python will allow you to assign meaning to that particular word or identifier. So let's understand the meaning of identifier. Moving in that direction, first let's understand what is the definition of identifier. Okay, let me change the size of the heading, converting this into the markdown mode and writing it down. Identifiers are those words which helps user to assign specific meaning to it, and these are not reserved, or let's say built in, which means these are not Python dedicated. These are user dedicated. You can create, you can give definition whatever you want. Okay, so these are not reserved or built in. Okay, we have some rules to declare identifier. Now since Python is giving you chance to declare the words of your own choice and assign meaning to it, you have to follow some set of rules. You cannot just anyway declare identifier. You have to follow the rules. So rule number 1 is that we cannot use keywords as identifier. Basic thing, right? If we have 36 set of reserved words, I cannot use those 36 set of reserved words as my identifier. That's what I told you. You cannot assign meaning to it. Those are reserved, already built in by Python. You cannot touch them. So even if you want to assign meanings by picking those words, Python will not give you the chance to do that. Okay, so we cannot use keywords as identifier. This is the rule number 1. Rule number 2. Identifier always starts with an alphabet or underscore followed with any combination of alphabet and numbers. So if you read the line very carefully, what it is telling you that identifiers always start with alphabet, which means it is necessary that first alphabet or let's say the first position of the word should be an alphabet, or it should be an underscore, okay, but it should not be a number. Okay, even if you want to declare number in the first place, not allowed. First position should either be alphabet or the underscore. Now after that you can declare anything, any alphabet, any number, whatever you want to. Okay, rule number 3, we cannot use any special character as the identifier, which means even if you want to choose special characters in between the identifier name, it is not allowed. Not in the first position, not in the middle, not in the last position. Okay, what are the special character? That must be the question for you. Special characters, if you can see your keyboard, you are having the numbers from 1 to 0, right? Suppose if you press shift plus 1, shift plus 2, shift plus 3, shift plus 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 0, those are counted as the special characters, and you cannot use these special characters while declaring the identifier. Okay, so this is the basic set of rules for declaring the identifier. Okay, now let me give you the example how actually the identifier looks like. Okay, suppose I am declaring one identifier, my name, MEGHA. Now here it is not restricted, okay, that you have to choose uppercase, lowercase, any cases of alphabet, because you are declaring it, right? Identifier is something which user is declaring it, so there is no restriction related to that. Suppose I am declaring one identifier like this, okay, underscore 08, okay, equals to 67. So this Megha underscore 08 is going to be your identifier, and this 67 is going to be the meaning of that identifier. So every time I want to use the value of 67, I am going to write the identifier name there, not 67 directly. Okay, so it is some sort of container or a name which is storing a value for you. Okay, so that's why we call this as identifier, carrying some meaning for you, and the meaning which we assigned here right now is 67. Now if you run this cell, this is also code. Okay, don't think that it is some definition, markdown or heading. This is a code. Now you have to run the cell to check the code if it is proper declaration of identifier or we have committed some mistake. So for that purpose, if I'm running it, no error. Okay, since there is no error, which means we are doing perfectly fine. Okay, let me declare one more. Let's say Python @ 09. Now do you understand one thing? @ is a special character. Let's say I am assigning the meaning as 90.67. Special characters, specifically it is mentioned in the rule that we cannot use special characters while declaring the identifier. So even if I'm going to run it, it is going to give me the error that it is not the valid syntax for the identifier. Now if I'm going to remove the special character from here, run it again, working perfectly fine. Okay, moving forward, let's say I declared something like 90 underscore hey equals to 56. Now if you read the rules of identifier again, in the rules there is completely specifically mentioned one thing, that we cannot declare numbers in the first place. It should be either underscore or the alphabet. You cannot declare numbers in the first place. If you want, you can do it later, but not in the first position. So this is also going to throw the error, syntax error. Suppose if I'm going to remove the numbers from here, starting with the underscore, running it perfectly fine. Okay, so this is how you can create the identifiers, and this is how you can create the keywords. Also, if we write any line in the Python, let's say these are the codes, right, which we are writing. In technical terms, we call this as statements. Okay, this is Python statement 1, this is Python statement 2, this is Python statement 3. Now you will ask me what I have done. Why I have put one hash here and written something, and even if I'm going to run this cell, it is not going to create any problem. Why? So this thing is called as comment. Okay, comment is not the part of the code. Comment is just the description of that particular Python statement. Suppose you are creating a long project, okay, which contains 2000 or 3000 lines of Python code. So maybe there is a possibility that tomorrow, if you come up and check the code, you might forget what you have written, right? Not every time your mind is going to be in that space where you remember what you have done previously. So for that purpose, we write comments in right in front of that Python statement, just so that if I want to come tomorrow and understand what I have done in that particular code, I can check this, or I can do this by writing the or reading the Python comment. Comments are not the part of the code, and it is not even going to harm your code as well. It is just something written for you, for your understanding, so that later if you want to come and read what is there, you can do with the help of comment. Every time you want to write some comment, you have to put one hash right in front of it. Then only it is going to be declared as comment. Suppose if I'm going to remove hash from here and run it, you will see it is giving me invalid syntax error. But if you put hash, Python will understand that user is commenting one line, and comment is not the part of the code. This is only the code for me running this particular code, giving no error. Okay, so we understood what are Python statement, what are comments, keywords and identifiers, and the basics of Python. From the next lecture, we will be starting with the data types. Okay, those are the building blocks of Python. Okay, and very important topic for the Python programming language. If you don't know the data type, it is going to be very difficult for you to write any Python program. Okay, so pausing the session right now here only. From the next lecture, we will be starting with the data types and continuing the data types of the Python. That is it. Thank you.